Today's video is Chapter 9, Lesson 2B. We're going to talk about circumference. Circumference is just like perimeter, but since circles are not polygons, they give it a new name. Perimeter is the distance around a shape. So we're going to go around the circle. Okay, think back to 3rd grade when you learned multiplication fact families. 3 times 8 is 24, so the backwards of that, 24 divided by 8 would be 3. 24 divided by 3 would be 8. They're all the same 3 numbers, they're just in a different order. We have 2 on one side that are being multiplied, 2 on one side that are being divided, but they're a fact family. Well, here's our fact family about circumference. If I take the number pi and I multiply it by the diameter of a circle, I get the circumference, the distance around the circle. Across the circle, around the circle. Or I can say the distance around divided by pi would give me across the circle. Or I could say around the circle divided by across the circle equals pi. All of these are the same fact family, just like 3, 8, and 24. Okay, just so that you have these definitions, circumference is around the circle. So if I started right here and I were to measure around the circle, that would be circumference. Diameter is across the circle through the center, the distance from left to right through the middle. Okay, the first thing we should practice is looking at a circle, and if they tell us the radius, we find the diameter. If they tell us the diameter, we can find the radius. So my first example is going to be 10 centimeters. Now, because that is only halfway across the circle, that's going to be my radius. Radius is halfway across the circle. It's from the center out. So if my radius is 10, then the whole number would be 20. If my whole number is 50, let's say inches, then what would just half of it be? 25. If half is 6.2 centimeters, that's the radius. What is all the way across? 12.4. Now that one I was able to do mental math, but if you want me to show you, we can do 6.2 plus another 6.2, or we could do 6.2 multiplied by 2. We want all the way across. I get 124 and I count one place, so I put my dot here so that I have one place behind the dot. All right, let's do another one. What if the whole radius is 6 1/4? So the radius is 6 1/4 inches. Just kidding. Wrong. That's in the wrong spot. Can I move it? No, I can't move it. Okay, that's the diameter, not the radius. 6 1/4 inches. How do I find halfway across? Well, I take 6 1/4 divided by 2. 25 over 4 divided by 2. 25 over 4 times 1 over 2. I can't cross cancel anybody, so I get 25 over 8. How many times does 8 go into 25? 3 times. How many's left over? 1. 3 1/8. So they might give us halfway and we have to double it. They might give us the whole thing and we cut it in half. Sometimes we can do it in our head. Sometimes we need a little scratch work. All right, let's find the circumference. If they give us a picture whose diameter is 23 feet. Now remember the recipe, and there were all those versions of it, but we're going to use the version that says C equals pi times the diameter. C equals C equals. So this one is, instead of A equals, it's C equals. And we're going to say pi times 23. Well, 23 you can either change to a decimal, and we're not going to use the whole pi, we're just going to use 3.14, or you can make it 22 over 7. That fraction is pretty close to pi also. So let's see, if I do 22 over 7 times 23 over 1, that's going to be pretty yucky. I think I'll do the decimal option. 3.14 times 23. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. 0 placeholder. 2 times 4, 2 times 1, 2 times 3. Add them up. Carry the 1. Carry the 1. Remember, I count 1, 2, 1, 2. So I put my dot here. 72.22. And the label is feet. And because it's the perimeter, it's the distance around the circle, it's just feet, it's not feet squared. All right, let's look at this one. C equals C equals. I don't need this every time. I really just need these two lines. Okay, so my first line is going to say C equals pi times the diameter, which is 14. Now, this time I'm starting to think that fraction might not be so bad, because 7 and 14 can cross out. So that would become a 1, that would become a 2. Final answer is 22 times 2, 44. So sometimes the fraction is pretty nice. So you can jump back and forth between using the decimal and using the fraction. So the first line says pi times 14. Second line is for your answer. Scratch work off to the side. All right, C equals C equals. The first one says pi times the diameter, but they didn't give me the diameter. They gave me the radius. Well, if they only give me halfway across, I'm going to have to do a little bit of math to get all the way across. All the way across would be 5 times 2. 2 5s. So pi times 10, I think I'll go back to the decimal option. 3.14 times 10 really just means I'm hopping the dot one place, but I'll go ahead and multiply it out. 0, 0, 0, 0 placeholder, 4, 1, 3, add everything up, count. Remember, there's 2 people behind the dot, so there's going to be 2 people behind the dot. 31.4 with a label of inches. So let's take a step back and look again. If they only give us the radius, we have to do a little math to get the diameter. If they give us the diameter, great, we just use it. If they give us the diameter, great, we just use it. Radius, gotta do a little work. All right, you have 2 video questions. Your first one is, tell me what the first line of work will say. And I don't think there's gonna be a pi button that you can use, so you can spell out pi, which is the letter P, and then an I. It's not like apple pie that ends in an E, it's just P-I. So, what's the first line of work gonna say for this circle? All right, so you probably did something that looks like this, P-I, and then maybe you spelled out times or used an X, and then a 20. C equals pi times 20. Your next video question, your last video question is, type in the second line of work. The second line, which would be C equals, and then the final answer with a label. All right, did you type in C equals 62.8 centimeters? If you want 62.80, that's fine, but math people always drop that last 0. So I will take either one of them would be as correct answer. Thanks for watching.